My name is Josh. I operate the Login Pacific Cyber Range, and I just wanted to address some comments today. Like the first comment, it's really nice, innocuous comment. They're just wondering why I don't work in cybersecurity anymore, like in corporate cyber, like doing actual cybersecurity, and I'll kind of talk about that a bit and what I'm doing now that kind of counts as like working in cyber. And then the other comment is like basically is like this guy must suck in cybersecurity. If he was good at cybersecurity, he'd just be working in cyber instead of like quote unquote selling courses. So I'll kind of like address both of these comments. But basically, yeah, my name is Josh Madakor. I used to work in corporate cybersecurity, like a lot of different cybersecurity jobs, from like GRC to security operations, and then like a mixture in between. And I've always had like kind of problem. I don't know if I can say problem or not, but I do like a lot of job hopping. If you looked at my LinkedIn, I think I cleared some of it up. But I can't stay at like the same job for very long. Something inside of me is just really like grating on me that I'm wasting time. So I didn't realize what this was, and I feel like I'm like wasting time. And I'd look at the job and be like, oh, it's because like, you know, the people I'm working with are like roadblocking me or something, or they're not executing the security strategy right, or some. I would make up like some reason, and I'd be like, man, this sucks, and I just like quit and go to the next job. And like arguably there's really annoying stuff in every single job, but I would just be like, this blows, like after a year, and I would just quit. But I think I realized it's probably because I knew that I could be spending my time doing something better that has better impact. It just didn't like dawn on me to do like really scalable business things and like give stuff to like, not give stuff, but you know, make content and make product that's really useful, that solves industry problems. Like that didn't occur to me. I just felt like I was wasting time in my job. So I was just like doing a lot of job hopping. But initially, I ended up like leaving corporate cybersecurity because like those reasons, right? My last job was a vulnerability management program manager, and I felt like I couldn't get any work done because people I had to deal with, like they wouldn't, like my job depended on them to do their job because of separation of duties. Like if I were allowed to do everyone's job, I would have fixed everything in that org in like 6 months because I'm really fast and efficient. But the people, they weren't doing their job, so my job couldn't get done, and I was just like, you know, kind of like, okay, like I felt like I was wasting time, and I was wasting time, you know, I was, but you know, a lot of people would be fine with that because like I was making 130K or something, and I could probably have not done anything because they weren't working, and I could just sit around getting free 130K. But it takes energy for me to like deal with the lack of progress being made. Like I feel like I could affect it, but I wasn't allowed to, and it was just like really frustrating. So I just ended up quitting. But I realized like later on that my time is like not well utilized working in any like corporate job that's not really scalable. Because I can have like impact, but the impact I have will be like stuck inside of the corporation. And if I don't care what that organization is doing, like it's just like kind of I feel like I'm wasting my life essentially. Not everybody feels like this, but that's just like how I feel. And then after, you know, I was already doing YouTube and stuff at the time, but I wasn't like really going hard on it. And I lied. My last job was not vulnerability management. My last job was, what was that? The title was like a principal security analyst, but it was more like an automation engineer at Microsoft. It was a contract, and I was making 180K. And that job was decent. It was nice, but I still didn't feel like I was like utilizing my time very much. And when I finally like quit and started doing like scalable impact things more, I don't feel like, yeah, I'm so fulfilled, I am my purpose. I didn't feel this at all, but I also didn't feel like I'm wasting my time doing those things because I'm in like complete control, and I can have as much impact over whoever I want essentially. Like I can engineer my own audience, which is not something that people think about a lot. Right, if you make brain dead content, for instance, you're going to have like a dumbass audience essentially. So I try to make like really proper content, so I can like cultivate an audience who's like into that. I mean, proper is like relative, and it's like my opinion, but yeah, I have control over my audience, and I can make I can look at the industry as a whole and try to, I'm not going to talk about my products a lot in this video, but just for the sake of like what I'm talking about, I could look at the industry as a whole and I can recognize issues with it, and I can work to fill those gaps, because I can fill them. It's happening slowly, but for example, that whole like catch-22, you need experience to like get experience or whatever. If I make a company and make a proper environment that makes money in the cloud, and I can have people like do things in that environment, and they can get experience in the form of like an internship, and it kind of bridges that gap between employer and like somebody who doesn't have experience, right? They can get experience, and I can deliver things in a way that I think makes sense where there's like gaps in the market, because generally speaking, a lot of like training is like too broad and lacks depth. But the hiring panel or whatever, they don't give a shit about those like ancillary things. Like if you can tell them the difference between like, well, some people care, like MD5 and SHA-1 or something, like these like ancillary stuff, versus actually practicing security in a way that enables business or that makes sense in the real world or whatever. That's what people care about. But a lot of training these days is too broad, right? So I can recognize all those things, and I can have an audience, and I can make some like product or something that solves the need, and then people who care about it can like get those, and then I feel like I don't feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like a normal person now being able to do YouTube. So that's why I quit. I wouldn't even say I'm a YouTuber anymore. It's more of like a business person, and I use YouTube as like public relations and like marketing essentially. But I guess I'm a YouTuber, but. Yeah, I feel like a normal person now that I'm doing business, and I can control like everything I'm doing, right? And to the argument where the person is like, if he was so good at cybersecurity, he wouldn't be doing YouTube and like selling product or whatever. That's, I don't know. I can understand what he's saying, but it's like too narrow-minded, because he's not taking into account the kind of impact that you could have even when you're doing YouTube with no product. You can have a lot of impact because people will watch your stuff, right? And I'm good at cybersecurity, like in the real world. I won't say that it's like boring, but cybersecurity is like nearly the same, like not, people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but cybersecurity like all boils down to like confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and like managing of risk, and risk reduction and keeping risk low. Pretty much everything you do is CIA triad and reducing risk. That's pretty much all it is. And if you understand like the different roles that different people play, like if you're in governance, or you're in operations, or you're in like training, or you're doing vulnerability management or whatever, all of those things are just for reducing risk. And it becomes more like easier to interview like once you understand that. Of course, if you're like interviewing for application security engineer, you have to like understand the nuance of those things and be familiar with certain frameworks and everything. But in the end, all of those things are just like CIA triad and reducing risk. And I feel like it's not hard to get to that point, if that makes sense. The point where I'm at, where I'm like, okay, I kind of understand, and I can just get a couple months to ramp up and like go get another job if I want to. But I don't feel like my skill in cybersecurity and being a YouTuber is like not even like related at all. And people have this like, I'm going to talk about my money a bit, and like how much money you can make like as a business person versus somebody who's working in cybersecurity. And this is like a dangerous thing for me to do, because there's like a number amount where people like stop making sense of it, right? Like if you imagine however much money you make is like 50K or something, and then you come home one day and you tell your mom, like, or whatever, your wife or something, like, oh, I make 500K now because like I made my own business and like all this stuff. Like they won't understand. They don't understand that 500K from like doing business is not the same as earning 500K from like a salaried paycheck or whatever. You have to do like goddamn gymnastics inside your business to make a lot of money. And there's like a lot of different things I can talk about, like ethics and stuff. If you are a piece of shit and you don't practice ethics, you can make a lot of money really fast, but your reputation is going to burn to the ground like pretty soon afterwards, right? But if you practice ethics and you implement ethics in your products and your marketing and everything, it takes a long time for you to like kind of earn a lot of money, because you have to like generate public trust and like all this stuff. And it takes a while, but still, regardless of how you make your money, like people, there's like some disconnect. Like if I go and like tell, say I don't know, say I go and meet a girl, like I just go and dating with a new girl or something, and I'm like, by the way, I make, I'll tell you how much I make, but I'll make like 600K, for example. That girl don't know the difference between like doing business gymnastics and working like 16 hours to get that 600K versus, just going to a normal 9 to 5 and getting like, 600K. They don't know the difference, and it's hard for them to, it's hard for people to like make sense of it if they haven't done business before or whatever. But where I was going with this is like the difference between making money at like, my Microsoft job, and then when I stopped doing that and started doing YouTube and product and everything full time. So at Microsoft, I went from making like 180 per year, and then I quit that and dumped all my time and energy like into YouTube and my product and everything like this. And it take a lot of energy, holy shit, to make a proper product. And I went from 180K to like 900K in like the next year. It's like 5x almost. And that was in like 2023. I think I made like 900K or something. And I don't want people to like think that I have a giant fucking sack of money, over my back, and I'm just like getting money from people by selling courses, and I have like a fucking Lambo. I don't have anything. I have less. Okay, let me explain a bunch of stuff so people can like expand their consciousness, because what I'm talking about is like not something that business people will talk about or they will like mention on YouTube without some kind of ulterior motive. But I'm just doing this to like expand consciousness and talk about it. So I don't have anything. I don't have literally anything. This computer is the most expensive thing I have, and the second most expensive thing is probably this camera, which is like Sony A7C2 something. But basically, like what happens and what you should do if you're ethical, right, is in that year I only had like 2 people, like me and my assistant, and we made like $900,000. And I was like, damn, when you start to get like a decent amount of money, you realize that you can like really impact a lot of people around you. People are like, money doesn't mean anything, but it really does. When you have it, you can impact a lot of people. You can like change lives of like a lot of people if you have money, if you're an ethical person. So in that year, in 2023, I was like, damn, okay, I should probably like get a staff and try to be like proper. So in 2024, basically like we hired like, I hired probably like 10 more people or something. I have like a full on editing team and like a content manager, and I have like a web admin doing like proper like SEO and stuff, and like all these like function. And we pretty much spent like 2024 like training up and acquiring people and getting better at business, because I was like, I'm bad at business still, but I was like even worse in like 2023. So 2024, I try to like really get proper and get a lot of stuff like in place and be more business minded and be like a better owner. And for the content team, we did like a lot of training. We like all went to Bangkok and did like, my content manager and the senior editor made like a 3-week long boot camp where people like learning how to do like proper editing and like 3D camera work and After Effects and everything. You guys didn't really see any of that yet because it's on a second channel that it's not been released yet. Basically in 2024, I just like acquire like a team of people, and we did like a lot of training. And then 2024, I made like, we made a gross of like 650K or something like this. Because the second half of 2024, I didn't like actively like sell my product because I was building the cyber range for like half a year. That thing took forever for me to make. And luckily I have the content team, and they were able to like, keep income happening by putting content out and allowing me to like use minimal effort to like make content. I'm sorry, I really tried to make content, but I was like really busy building that stuff. And then 2025 comes, and then the cyber range is finished, so we launched that product on school. Then I realized like I was on the leaderboard for the school games in the tech category, and I was like, god damn, that's kind of cool. So I'm trying to do a good job with that, so I can win the school games, and then I can go to LA and then meet Alex Hormozy and all of them. But Basically, the thing that I was trying to say is like you get a lot of in business. Earning money in business is like way different because I'm busy like all the time. I don't have a Lambo, right? And like 2023, I made 900K for a normal person. Like 900K, that's a lot. It is a huge like chunk of money, but I don't really feel anything because I'm working like I just have like goals in my brain and I'm just like working like all the time. And so in 2025, oh yeah, so the play is to like make a product and then you get a good chunk of money with that. And then you make another product that's like better, like use those capital that you earned to make another product that's better. So I basically like used that capital to build a team and like train them and then make another product without having to like really do anything else. So in 2024, like a chunk of that year I was making a product and like training the team with that chunk of money that I got. And then in 2025 comes around, like we have like the cyber range now, and I'm trying to make it better by doing like a weekly threat hunt. We did one of them already and then giving away prizes like every week. The first week, we only did 1 week. I gave away like $250 or something, but I'm thinking to like give away, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm thinking to like give away more based on like the net revenue of the cyber range the previous month or something like this. Because the amount of money the cyber range generates, at least the gross revenue, is public information. You can just like kind of see it. So I'm thinking to give away like, a set amount based on the previous month's revenue to kind of really encourage people and like let people like have a good time or whatever. If there's like actual real money at stake, I just worry about it a bit because people might start getting fucking crazy if it's too much. But yeah, so the play is to like just keep making better and better product and like, using that money that you so thankfully received from my customers and then dumping it into the next product and making the next product better and making the next product better. And like the products should, because I have more money, I can spend more money on the product. So to make like the cyber range, for example, I had to spend like a decent chunk of money up front just on like licensing stuff for like the vulnerability management platform, only like 100 computers. 100 seats, so it's like a $3,500 with a discount. Otherwise it's like $5,000. And then the spend inside of Azure when I was building the cyber range, it's like $600 per month, even though no one's even using it. It's expensive to do, and it's not something I can just do right off the bat, because who's gonna like drop $5,000 and spend $600 a month on Azure to build a product that they don't even know it works? But for me, I could do it because luckily I had an audience I made already, and I had a chunk of money that I got from them. So better use this money to do something good that people can use. And then after I launched the cyber range like a month ago, right, it's already half capacity almost. Capacity is like 960 users. It's like a hard limit on Azure for our infrastructure, and it's like half full after a month already. And that shit is cheap too, $97, my guy, per month. That is so ethical, because like even if you do what I'm doing on your own in your own Azure tenant, it's probably going to approach $97, but you won't have like a community with you and like a traffic of like 400 other users using the same environment. It's like a normal work environment. That's like the thing I'm doing, right? To summarize, like I don't feel like working in any corporate job because I don't feel there's I don't feel impact, and I feel it's like wasting my time. And I can do cybersecurity. Obviously, I built the cyber range, right? I built that thing, and I imagine like the IAM, the access management nightmare and automation nightmare that has to happen on the back end, right, to handle like a lot of users. I'm not doing all that manually, right? It's a Azure function with like thousands of lines of Python code in it, doing a lot of acrobatics, right? I can do technical things. I'm a cyber person. I'm okay, right, at cybersecurity. I'm just not doing it in the corporate world because I just personally feel it's like not a good use of my time. That's why. So yeah, that's to answer those questions and to give you some insight on like business and stuff. I could talk about this a lot because a lot of people are so quick to get mad that I'm making money. They're like, your course is a scam. Like, fuck this guy. He's a YouTuber influencer. He's selling your course. He's getting rich. I don't have a fucking sack of money, my guy. I'm so responsible with it. I don't have anything, and I dump them into new product for people to use and my staff. That's where the money goes. And if I get a shit ton of more money, I'll keep making better product with it. That's just like, what else am I going to do with it? Like buy a private jet or something? I don't get what people's like thought process is. I think they just don't know, right? Because there's actual entities like CompTIA is not a benevolent organization. They pretend to be like a nonprofit, and they charge, $400 for taking an exam, no infrastructure, by the way, no hands-on anything, by the way, $400 for that. For what exactly? And then they use their money to go and lobby for something, right? And you're telling them like, oh, don't listen to Josh, go to CompTIA and spend your money there. I don't want small business to do anything. Or they'll like, really uphold like higher education or something, as if higher education is better, right? Like the IT course, the IT course, people go through this and like change their career in like 6 or 8 weeks, but you're saying that it's fake, and you're telling those people to like go to a 4-year college or something. Think about what you're telling them to do. The opportunity cost of 4 years is a goddamn long time, right? Because if you can change your career in like 8 weeks, and even if you're making only $40K for those like 4 years, that's already like $160K of gross earnings down the hole, plus the cost of tuition if the person goes to a 4-year college just to work in help desk. I'm not sure like what these people are recommending the audience to do, right? I understand, because some influencers like really shit. Some of them are really bad, honestly. Influencer. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a fucking guy on YouTube, right? But some of them are really bad, but you can tell who's bad by like just Googling their name and looking on Reddit. It'll be obvious, right? Because the people who are bad, they're either going to like try to scrub their self from the internet, or people are just going to be like talking about them and telling you what they are, like an actual scammer, right? Not everyone is a scammer. And you shouldn't like make it your goal to like put down small business or something, because I don't even have a goal. I don't have a goal. I feel like I'm not even in control of my life. I feel like I'm in a video game and someone's like playing me, and I have like some autonomy, like I can like throw stuff around or whatever, some scope of autonomy, but in like the grand scheme of things, I feel like somebody's like playing me, and I'm just trying to like I don't know. No one knows like the meaning of life, right? No one can tell me the meaning of life and have it make sense. They're gonna give me an answer that's like based in religion, or like some faith-based answer or something, and those are faith-based. It's like not, you cannot prove it. So all I'm trying to do is get through life comfortably as possible, and then hopefully I'll leave the world a better place when I die, or my life ends or whatever, than it was before I came. I hope that's the goal. I don't have like a goal of making like $10 million or having a Lambo or something like this, because like, what is the point? I can't increase my quality of life anymore unless I get like a private jet or something. Then I am less convenienced at the airport, something like this. So I'm literally just trying to like solve industry issues that I'm aware of, and then make better product, and then help people, and then try to be comfortable along the way. That's literally all I'm doing. So hopefully this gives people a better idea of like money, and like at least not everybody thinks the same way as I do, like in terms of like money and like product and like ethics. Most people don't. I understand, because when I start doing business, a lot of people either steal from me or try to backstab me or do something weird. Like there's a lot of weird people in business, but I like to think I'm not one of them. And hopefully like people watching my videos, hopefully they can like research or something before they like start talking too much shit in the comments, because you're not likely to find someone saying that I'm a scammer on the internet. Who going to say this? If somebody say this, they just like don't know what they're talking about, or they don't know me, or something like this. But I don't know. I talked a lot. Let me know if you have questions about cybersecurity or business in general, or YouTube or something. I'll try to give my 2 cents on it. Yeah, we're just doing our best out here. So let me know if you have any questions, and see you later. Oh yeah, join the Cyber Range if you want to participate in those weekly capture the flag / threat hunt things, or if you want to get into cybersecurity, check it out. It's going to fill up anyways, right? Regardless, because it's half full already. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen when it fills up. I might increase the price, maybe. It depends on like what I do with it and like how I feel and how much labor it is. But the capacity is like 960 users and it's at like 410 or something right now. Yeah, check it out and see you in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, bye.
Gosh, let's do that Instagram thing where you hold my hand and I just